This is a Cessna 172, one of the most popular training aircraft in the world. This is also a Cessna 172. But what does this upside-down airplane have in common with this Piper, this Cirrus, and this airplane, which was flown by a US Navy Top Gun pilot at the time of this accident? The best way to honor the legacy of these pilots is to learn from their mistakes by integrating better decision-making into our own flying and properly pre-flight inspecting the airplanes we fly. That's exactly what I'm doing today with Haley. This is Haley. Haley's a student pilot and manager of social media at Gilbert Aviation. This is me, Erica Gilbert, career flight instructor, professional pilot, and owner of Gilbert Aviation. Today, Haley is learning how to perform a proper pre-flight inspection of this 172, so she doesn't end up like this, or this. Why do you think we need to do a pre-flight inspection of the airplane?
Make sure the plane's safe to fly.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to use a checklist to help us walk through that. But the way that I like to do this is I have what we call a flow. So we're going to walk around the airplane, and then we're going to review it with our checklist, make sure we got everything. Okay. So the pre-flight inspection really starts kind of big picture zoomed out. The first thing that we want to do is look at the aircraft to make sure that it has all of its pieces. So it has its wings, it has its tail, its wheels, and we also are looking for an absence of something. So there's some stuff we don't want to see, like fluid on the ground, whether it could be fuel or oil, hydraulic fluid from the brakes. We don't want to see fluids on the ground. So big picture, everything looks good. Now we're going to take off the tie downs and we'll pull out the plugs and covers. So this is like a little ratchet strap kind of thing. You just kind of hold that and pull it to loosen it, and then we just leave them right here. Alrighty, good. So we have all the covers. We're going to turn on the battery, and we can take the gust lock out as well. So you might need to pull on the yoke a little bit to release the tension. Good. So a couple things we want to check while we're in here is we want to look at the fuel indication. We're going to turn on all of the lights. So on the panel there, you see lights. So beacon, landing, taxi, nav, strobe. We're going to turn on the pitot heat as well. Now that we have the lights on, we're going to walk around and check that all the lights are working. We've got a strobe light here and a navigation or position light right here. Here we have a landing light and a taxi light. And we also need to put the flaps down to check and make sure that those go all the way down. So to the right of that red knob, there's a flaps lever. This? Yeah. Put that all the way down. And then watch your head. Okay. We'll continue walking around. We have no lights on the nose here. We do have lights on the right wing. We have a strobe and then a navigation light, and that one's green. The other one, do you remember the color of the other one?
Red?
Red, that's right. Because when you're in the left seat, you're paying to be there. We have a nav light on the back, the white one. And then we have a beacon as well, the flashing red light. Now we see that all the lights are on. We can turn them off and then also turn off the battery.
Leave the flaps on?
The flaps are going to stay down, yeah.
Pitot heat too?
All of it comes off, yeah.
And the
battery, okay. Yep. Now we're going to start down here looking at the tire. We're going to start our external walk around. What kinds of things do you think we need to look at here?
Skids on it.
Yeah. The tread. Yeah.
Tread. Holes. It's firm.
Inflated. Yeah. Then we also want to check the brakes out. So we have our rotor here. We have our caliper and our brake pads are in there. You can see those. And then we've got our lines here, which have hydraulic fluid in them. It's important to know it's hydraulic fluid because brake fluid is brown. You know what color hydraulic fluid is?
The clear?
It's red.
Red? Oh.
Yep, it's red. So no leaky brakes, plenty of tread. And then on the outside, there is a cotter pin here. So that if something started to come loose, the cotter pin would keep our wheel on. And it goes all the way through. Now we're going to move up and we're going to look at the flaps. Flaps help change the angle of attack of the wing so we can descend without picking up airspeed. We want to make sure that they have come all the way down, which they have. And make sure that these rollers are set inside the tracks. And there's 2 rollers on each hinge. We're going to give it a little movement. There's usually a little bit of play, not a whole lot. And then we also have this control rod here. We want to make sure it doesn't move forward and aft, but side to side like that is okay. Now on the back side of it as well, we want to make sure that there's not too much wear. So oftentimes there will be a rub strip on these. It's just a piece of tape where they can see where it might be rubbing as the flap seats back into the wing. Now we're going to look at this. What is this called?
Aileron.
Aileron, that's right. So we want to move it all the way up and all the way down. You can do that, and we'll do it from this side because we're going to need to look inside the mechanism as well. Cool. So when you push it all the way up, we've got 3 sets of hinges, and there should be a pin in each of those hinges. So you see this pin here?
Yeah.
It goes all the way through the hinge, and you see the end of it. Same thing with that control rod. Side to side is okay, forward and aft, not okay. Now we'll move along the side here. We want to make sure that all the lights are nice and secure. No crazy cracks on the wing there. We have a stall indicator, a port for our stall indicator here. If you were to suck on that, you would hear a little noise in the cockpit. We have a fuel vent here that allows for fuel expansion to have a place to go. So if you're sitting out on the ramp and it's warming up over the day and you're full of fuel, that fuel's going to expand and it needs a place to go. Also, as you burn the fuel, air needs to come into the fuel tank to replace what fuel was there. Otherwise, you would get a negative pressure and the fuel wouldn't go to the engine. So we want to make sure that that is not clogged. Now we have the pitot tube. Now we had this on earlier and it's been off long enough that it's not super hot, but you can feel that it's warm. Never grab it. I always like to give it little taps like that because this thing gets really, really hot.
Okay.
So if you touch it while it's still on, it will burn you and leave skin on there.
Oh.
And you want to make sure that the cover is off before you turn it on as well. So we've got the ram air inlet there. We also have a drainage hole on the underneath side. We want to make sure that those are there and not obstructed. Okay, next we're going to sump the fuel. So we have to make sure that the quality of our fuel is good, that we don't have any contaminants or any water. There are 5 low points on each of the wings of this R model Cessna 172, and that's what that's for. So there's a port here, there, here, there, and there, and I'll just show you. We're gonna put the tube up into there and just pull it out for a second. We'll do all 5 of those. All right, now we'll hold it up to the light and confirm a few things. First, it needs to be the right color. What color is it? Yeah, blue. Yeah. And are there any contaminants in it? Anything floating in it?
Can't tell if it's this bottle. I don't think so.
Yeah, the bottle's kind of dirty. And do you see any water in it?
No.
Where would the water be?
Top or bottom?
It'd be on the bottom.
Yeah.
Fuel is lighter than, well, it's less dense than water, so it'd be on the bottom. So the next thing we're going to do is climb up here. We'll pour that fuel back into the fuel cap, and we'll check the quantity as well. There's a handle here as well.
Oh, that helps.
Yeah. Helps a lot. It takes a finesse. You'll get it down.
This is super full.
Yes. I believe that. So that is that side. That's that wing. One last thing to check as we're moving forward is our static port here. So this gives static pressure information to some of our air instruments. Our airspeed, our altimeter, and our vertical speed. We want to make sure that that is not clogged or blocked. Sometimes if they're washing airplanes, they'll put a piece of tape over that. And so you want to check for that. Now we're moving to the nose. We want to inspect the propeller, and we'll just run our hand up and down each side of it, making sure that there's no big divots or pock marks. So both sides of the propeller. And we want to look inside the nose. What kind of stuff do you think we might be looking for in there?
Bird's nest.
Bird's nest, that's right. Yeah, so we're looking for bird's nests. We're looking for any rags or anything that's not supposed to be in there. It should just be engine stuff.
Snakes too. I think
Snakes?
you told me that.
Oh my gosh.
You said you found snakeskin in one.
Did I?
I swear it was you.
It might have been
Nick.
me. It may have been Nick. Another thing you want to look at is you can see the starter right here. A little electric motor that when we engage the starter, the gear comes out and then sticks into this gear on the crankshaft and spins it. So you want to see that that gear is not seated into each other. And you can actually probably feel it better than you can see it. And over here, we want to check this belt for the alternator. You want to make sure that it's in good condition, not dry rotted or anything like that, and that it's also present. It needs to be there. This is the air filter. So the air going into the engine is filtered. We want to make sure that that's in good condition and also present. Then we'll come down here to the tire. We want to make sure that the tire is in good condition. Plenty of tread, it's inflated, and we've got pins, cotter pins and stuff. This right here is called a shimmy damper. So as we are accelerating or taxiing pretty fast, like a high-speed taxi as we're taking off or landing, this is used to absorb some of the shimmying that often happens with our nose wheel. So when it's a little loose like that, you can expect that your nose is going to shimmy. And then we also want to make sure that this air oil strut is inflated. Should be about a hand's width. We also want to make sure that the exhaust pipe is not blocked. So just put your hand in there for a second. Yucky hands. Now we're going to check the oil. So we'll open up that oil door. And we have a dipstick there.
In it?
This yellow one right here.
Oh.
So we'll unscrew that. Oh, that is really dirty oil. We have just under 6 quarts.
I put it back in?
Yeah. That is really yucky oil.
I mean, it needs to be changed?
Yeah, it is overdue for an oil change. Every 50 hours, it should have one. It doesn't have to. It's not mandatory, but it's a good idea. Minimum amount of oil that we need is 6 quarts. So if we were going to fly, we would need to put at least half a quart in there.
What was it?
It was just under 6.
Okay.
But we need at least 6 in this one. We also have 3 sump points under the nose here. We have one here, there, and then back there. So we need a sump from under here. The older 172s, they don't have this many sump points.
I know, I don't remember underneath.
Yeah. These fuel injected models.
Right.
Oh, did it get you?
Yeah.
Yikes. We all have a little bit of lead poisoning. Okay, so now we're going to do same thing that we did on the other side.
Blue, nothing in it, no water.
Cool.
Toughest time getting back up here, hopefully.
We'll kind of do what we did over here in reverse. So over there, we started at the wheel, then we came up to the back and around. Now we kind of started here. We'll go that way and then back down. And that's like the perfect amount of play right there. Great, so now we'll move towards the back. Okay, so we need to make sure that all of the antennas are on the airplane, and there are a lot of antennas, and it's gonna take more than just this one time to remember them. The little kind of hockey puck thing at the top, that is our GPS receiver. So that gives us satellite information, so our GPS receiver can give us our location and our speed and our distance to where we want to go and all that. These 2 big white antennas are our communications receivers, the ones we talk on. So COM1 and COM2. This right here is our ELT. It is a emergency location transmitter. So it has an accelerometer in it, which is like a piece of electronic equipment that notices when something moves really, really fast or stops really, really fast. And so when that accelerometer is triggered, so on a really hard landing or a crash, it then begins to send out a signal on the emergency frequency, 1 to 1.5. Lets everyone know that there's an aircraft in distress, basically. Now, one of the things that we missed, these are not antennas, but they look like them, are these little things on the side of each wing, and they're also on the rudder and elevator. These are called static wicks. What they do is wick the static electricity off the airplane. Because when you're flying in a cloud, you have electrons that build up on the airplane, and they need a way to discharge. Otherwise, they're going to interfere with your electronic equipment in the airplane.
Cool.
So we want to make sure that those are present as well. On the bottom of the airplane, we have 2 antennas. One of them is for outer marker, that long one, which is for instrument stuff.
The thing sticking out?
Yep.
Oh.
And then the one that looks like a fin is our ADS-B receiver. See that one kind of further up front? It's kind of dark because it's right in the trail of the exhaust and the burning oil. The other two antennas that we have are these that are shaped like a V. These are our navigation antennas. We use those a lot for VORs, which is a type of ground-based navigation system. And so if you see the V here, you can remember VOR for navigation. Now we're going to do our pre-flight inspection of the tail or the empennage. We've got fuselage and empennage. So a couple things we need to look at here. What is this control surface called?
Elevator?
Elevator, that's right. So we want to give it full deflection up and full deflection down. Make sure that we've got the full range of motion. I'll let you do that. Good. Now with it all the way down, we want to check and see that there's a counterweight right here. And there is. On these, it's just a piece of wood, which is kind of crazy. And then you want to kind of stand over here so you can look and inspect the mechanism here. On these Cessnas, we've got a bolt right here. And so that's a stopper for this. When it comes up, that's what this is supposed to stop on. And as it's up, you can see this cable here. And there's lots of nuts and bolts. And there's safety wire on all of these as well. So like cotter pins with wire that wraps them around and keeps them from falling out.
What's this extra little?
This is our trim tab. So when we're flying along, we'll have wind going over our elevator. And we might have control pressures that make it feel like it's a lot of effort to pull up or push down to try and hold our airspeed and altitude. So inside, we can adjust our trim wheel. And that'll make this move. Why don't you hold that elevator right there, not the trim tab, just the elevator. I'll move the trim tab and you can watch it move. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So it's like a little baby elevator on the elevator, essentially.
Yeah.
It just changes the airflow and makes it easier to hold it where you want it to go. Okay, we also want to look under the elevator, make sure there's no corrosion or anything here. Now we have the rudder.
Y'all.
Yaw, that's right. The rudder controls yaw. So we want to make sure that the rudder is in nice condition, that it's pretty straight. Sometimes you might see little dents here or there. Now this says no push. Why do you think it says no push? How do we inspect it if we're not supposed to push back and forth on it?
I don't know. Oh wait, I know this. So it always, I'm probably wrong. I think I looked this up because when I was first looking through books on my own, I just like Googled it because I wasn't for sure why. Like your rudder pedals, you always have to push the right one a little bit more. And it's because it's like turned to the left for some reason.
There are left turning tendencies. That is true. That's not related to the no push.
Oh, I thought I saw that it was because it's not always perfectly straight. Maybe.
Yes, it's not always perfectly straight. That's true. And we have a little trim tab here that we can't adjust in the airplane. This is adjusted by an airframe and power plant mechanic and then flight tested. There are left turning tendencies at the airplane, which do mean that we have to have right rudder a lot to make sure that we have coordination of our airplane. This no push just means you can't use that as a push point for the airplane to move it around.
Oh.
But you can push it back and forth like this.
Oh, okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to move the rudder, and then we want to make sure it comes back to center. It's got springs in there that are supposed to bring it back to a fairly neutral position. Now, if you ever come out and inspect an airplane, pre-flight inspect an airplane, and the rudder is way conked off to one side. With Cessnas, the rudder pedals are mechanically linked to the nose wheel. So if the nose wheel is cocked to one side or the other, so maybe someone made a really sharp turn before they parked it, you can come look down, and if that nose wheel is turned slightly one way or the other, then the rudder is also going to be turned that way. So like right now, the nose wheel is slightly left, I would say.
Yeah.
And the rudder is also slightly left. So if it doesn't spring back to center, that's something that you can check.
Okay.
Now, if you were to come down here and look and the nose wheel were perfectly straight and it still is kind of like not coming back to center, that's a problem.
Okay.
I have seen in Cessnas where one of those springs went bad, and then that results in lack of control. No good. No good. So we're looking at those springs. We're also looking at the cables here should be safety wired so that they can't come loose. You see that, all that wire wrapped around there?
Yeah.
Other side of the elevator, very similar. We don't have a trim tab here. We need to check the counterweight.
Why is there no trim tab?
You only need it on one side. And do you remember what these guys are called?
Static
Wicks.
static
Yeah, good. And we have some on the rudder as well.
and under.
Yeah. Another thing that is really important to check is the serial plate of the airplane. This is something that your examiner is going to check. They get the airplane documents at your check ride. They're going to come bring them up to the serial plate and make sure that it is all accurate. So we want to look and make sure that it's the right model airplane and serial number. So we did our pre-flight inspection. We are humans, and there's a good chance that we missed something.
Mm-hmm.
So now what we're going to do is we are going to run our checklist. We're going to look at the initial and the exterior checklist to make sure that we covered everything.
Weather and
Density, altitude.
what was that?
That is if it's a hot day or you're at a high elevation airport, you don't have as good a performance of the airplane. So
Okay, so that's just like environment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not anything we do with the airplane. It's before we fly.
Weight and balance, what we bring on.
Yes. So we would have to calculate and make sure that we're within limits of the airplane.
Performance.
We'd have to make sure that given the situation and scenario where we're flying, we have the performance needed.
Flight plan, like our scheduling thing.
Exactly.
Papers, AROW.
Ooh, see? I'm human. I forget things. Yeah. So aero. So one of the things that is required for an airplane to have is its documents. Whoopsie daisy. So just like when you're driving around, if you were to get pulled over, what would you be asked for?
License and registration.
Yeah. We have some similar things in the airplane. For an airplane, we're going to hand these to you and this. So we have an airworthiness certificate. This is also always supposed to be in the airplane and visible. So I'll show you where it goes back. There's a little plastic sleeve, and this is supposed to go in front. And registration. So this is just tax stuff, basically. These are good for 7 years. So this one expires in 2027. So that's current. Airworthiness certificates do not ever expire. So this is original to the airplane from 2005. So that is airworthiness and registration. We also need operating limitations. Operating limitations are in the pilot's operating handbook. Everything that we can and can't do with the airplane is in here. And the W for aero is weight and balance. This is the empty weight and balance of the airplane. So anytime they add equipment or remove equipment, they have to go back and weigh the airplane and see what is the empty weight of the airplane and where's the center of gravity for the airplane. And then that gives us our starting point for all of the weight and balance calculations we'll do in the future. This is updated as of November of 2022. And we've got our empty weight here and our center of gravity when we're empty right there. So airworthiness, registration, operating limitations, and weight and balance are in here as well. So we'll put these back. This is going in the back of the seat. These go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that flap will get you. There's this pocket here, and there's a plastic pocket right on the front of that. So those go in there. And which one goes in front?
Airworthiness?
Perfect.
Are you done with this?
Yeah, let's just make sure. Yes, we are done with that. Do you have any questions about the pre-flight?
No. I feel like I've done this part before.
Yes. Yes. So we'll continue to do it together, and you'll probably need to use your checklist, especially in the beginning, to help walk you through it. And I'll be here, obviously, if you have any questions about anything on the airplane. Then as we progress through training, you'll get to the point where you're doing the pre-flight inspection on your own.
Love that smell.
Of the avgas or the inside of the airplane?
Just the plane.
Yeah, I know, I'm with you.
That wraps up our pre-flight inspection of this R model Cessna 172. By following the manufacturer-endorsed pre-flight inspection and operating limitations of your aircraft, you'll be less likely to end up like this. These pilots all made mistakes that turned out to be fatal or cause injury. And those mistakes were made before they even left the ground. A couple of these accidents were fuel-related. The pilots thought they had more fuel in the aircraft than was really there because they didn't inspect and verify the fuel. This aircraft lost control on takeoff because the control lock was left in the airplane. If a retired Top Gun pilot can make this mistake, we are all susceptible to similar mistakes. If you've enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. We're documenting Haley's whole journey to become a pilot. Stay tuned and let us know how your own flight training journey is going. Consider supporting our channel through Patreon, where supporters get early access to videos like this, extras like monthly live streams, and videos that don't get published on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.